let me jump on this. I didn't know how many of you knew about photo or not. So there's a lot of baby stuff on here that I'll just go real fast over. Can everyone read that?
Yes.
So in terms of elements of a good photograph, is the subject an issue? Well, that has to do with how important is the subject to you, the photographer, or to you, the viewer? And it's just something to consider. The other components are neutral. They're not subjective, pretty much. But then the content, that can get tricky. We'll continue. I still use that when I teach. And of course, everyone's familiar with the different apertures, the different shutter speeds, and you juggle the shutter speed with the aperture to get different effects. Fast or slow shutter speed. Okay, you're freezing action with a fast shutter speed, or you have the camera on a tripod with a slow shutter speed to get this effect, or that one. Here you're panning with the camera, you're moving at the speed of the horse and the rider, and you're stopping that, but the background is blurred. Same subject. This is the subject. This is the one that you're focusing on, but with a large aperture, you blur the front and the back, or with a small aperture, you bring into focus the front and the back, so you get a greater depth of field, less depth of field. This photographer is using a larger aperture in order to let the viewer see the main subject, which is the princess here. And anything behind is blurred and anything in front is blurred. So that's a conscious decision. If you were to use a small aperture, everything would be in focus, front and back. This is just since the advent of the digital world and photographs are everywhere. It's good to stop in terms of a conversation and really pin down what it is that you're referring to. Whether you're referring to the traditional print, or if you're talking about something that you can see clearly on an iPhone or on the laptop. At any rate, the question of what is a photograph, that gets tricky. Why take a picture? What is your intended audience? How will you display your image? Things to consider when you take pictures Friday at the Loop Road. Anyone recognize this famous French actress of the 1800s?
No. No.
Recognize that?
Yeah. That's from the movies. World War II, they always pinned
Yes.
her up.
Yes.
But I don't know her name.
Betty Grable.
Betty Grable, that's it.
This?
Not
Is
sure.
it a good picture? Is it an important picture? How much information do you need in order to appreciate an image? This happens to be the runner that broke the 4-minute mile. So it was a milestone, a really major happening back in the 1950s. Recognizable individual.
Yes.
These?
Oh, that's Annie get her gun? Is that Annie? Not sure.
What's going on here?
Is that from Annie, you know, the
Any
shooter?
Get Your Gun is a musical.
Yeah, but it's based on a real person. Oh, I forget. I think her name was Annie something, but I'm not sure if that's from this.
This
Okay,
looks
so
more
this
like
is a
a
real,
Bonnie and Clyde thing to me.
say it again.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh, maybe.
That's who they are.
Bonnie and Clyde.
The real Bonnie and Clyde. And they're just joking around.
Oh, this was the lady that was found from the airplane that survived.
Oh, ho, ho. Now, how do you know?
I recognize that image. That image, like when I saw it, just made an impression.
That's recent? You saw this recently?
I saw this when it was in the news, and this was the image, and I could not believe that she had survived, and I just remember the image.
I'll come back to that.
Okay.
Wow. I've never seen this.
Me neither.
Tree trimmers in the late 1800s.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Jackie Robinson Blue.
Okay, well, how much information do you have in order to appreciate this image? So we're talking about sports, we're talking about specifically baseball, we're talking about this particular baseball player and what the baseball player is doing.
Who broke the color line, and he's coming home, I think.
Why is he coming home?
Maybe World Series? I don't know, but he's happy.
Well, if you know baseball, you know that this line is, this is third base.
Right,
It can only be third base.
right.
So this baseball player is not running to third base, but he's looking at, at home base. These legs, if you have the information, you know that it's the umpire.
Right.
And then you have his facial expression, et cetera, et cetera. So what's going on? If you know the background, and this is a superb picture on its own, but if you know about it, then it has that much more meaning. So you're absolutely right. It's the first African-American player to play in the major leagues in the United States. And he was known for stealing home base. And he would taunt the catcher on the other team, and that's exactly what he's doing. So it's a perfect image to capture the essence of this particular player as a player.
Che Guevara.
Is this a good picture?
It's iconic.
It's what?
It's a hateful
It's
picture to me.
not a great picture, but he's a good looking guy, so it's iconic.
Why
I
isn't it a
think
good
it's,
picture?
I think it's a good picture in that he's shown in a dark way, and he's such a dark soul, sociopath, serial killer,
Whoa,
horrible man.
you see, remember what I said before, the subject? You're getting involved with the subject now. We're trying to look at just a portrait. Is this a good portrait?
I mean,
It's,
it looks blurry to me, but I don't know if that's just because it's maybe the original is not blurry, but this, I'm looking at it on the screen and it looks blurry to me. So that's why I
Okay.
said it's not
All
good.
right, so maybe the reproduction is not good.
it's dark. It's dark to me. It's like a dark picture. And to me, in that essence, yeah, it would be good for him because he's a dark person. I see him as a dark soul. So the fact that it's almost looks like a dark, oily picture to me, and that kind of is how I think of him. I don't think of him when I see him in graphically with all the little colored t-shirts and all that. That looks like a Mickey Mouse representation. This looks more like what he is, a dark person. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
That's Anne Frank, right?
Mhm. Yep.
So what about this picture? Is it a good
I
picture?
like
Is it
this
a-
picture because she's looking up, and it shows that she's young and she's looking up almost like she's talking to her parents or an adult looking for answers that they couldn't give her. That's what I think of.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you see the promise of, I see myself in the picture. You know, how I was when I was that age. Everything is looking up. Everything is definitely, I mean, so technically, I don't know if it's good or bad, again, because I'm looking at a reproduction, but also because we know her history, you know,
That adds something to it.
it adds a lot to it.
And she looks, like I said, she looks innocent, and we know her history. We know what a sad ending it has, but she looks like she's looking for answers, and she's asking
Okay.
the adults for answers
Okay.
in an innocent way.
All right. Don't yell out the answer to the next pictures. Okay. Hold on.
Okay.
An innocent baby.
Is that
All
Shay?
all babies are innocent. What's funny? What's funny?
No, I was just saying, is that Che Guevara when he was a baby?
Oh,
The
Um,
baby Adolf.
oh, okay. Worse.
Let me go back to this. I got this from a cousin who sent me last week a bunch of different pictures. And the caption showed this to be the woman that you said fell out of the airplane, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I said, wait a minute, I got to check that out. So I went to Snopes. You know Snopes? It's this outfit online that you can fact check what's going on.
Because she's not even dirty. She's not even dirty. It's hard for me to imagine her falling out of an airplane.
Exactly. That's I started from there.
And her
So it
hair,
turned-
her hair looks good
that's
too.
true. That's true.
So it turns out the picture is from the movie that they were making,
Uh,
but
yeah.
the incident did happen.
Yeah,
So
that makes-
all I'm saying is that if I've been telling you things about these pictures, I guess you're taking my word for it, that these are who they are, who I say they are. You can believe me, at least I've researched it, and I know that these are authentic pictures of authentic individuals. In this case, this is so easy to Photoshop today that is it possible? Is it possible to climb up If the guy weighs 180 pounds up there, maybe, I don't know, but it looked kind of iffy. It's a great picture.
Yeah, it
Supposedly
does.
takes-
You know, now that I think about it, it does look iffy because some of those branches cannot be that strong.
That's so, you know, that one came in the same batch from my cousin. I have to tell him these things. But anyway, there's that one. We talked about that. Lily, is this a good picture? No, your phone, your phone,
Can't hear you.
Unmute.
you're mute.
I'm guilty. I know. I always do that. So are you you talking about the subject or the photo?
Well, I don't know.
He's putting
What's
you
your
to a test.
impression?
Okay,
A
so
good
this is what I would would tell my students. This is a picture, but it's also a subject matter, right? So I see the picture and it's a good picture. Do I like who is representing? That's another question, entirely different. But it's a good image of a black and white portrait of someone.
Why is it good?
It's the lighting is good, the austere pose is good, the cleanliness of the background, it's the center, the person is not engaging his gaze with you, so you're wondering what he's looking at probably, which gives him this kind of heroic look when someone is looking away like that, like, pondering about something or thinking about something greater than life. It's usually, wait, this person is in the wrong meeting. Hold on. Can you kick Andres Cabrera out? Because they are supposed to go to another meeting. Okay. Wait, hold on, because I'm in the other class and this person is supposed to go to the other class.
I'm gonna remove him.
Yeah, remove him because
No.
I'm gonna let them know.
No, he's gone.
Gone.
Yeah,
He
okay.
left.
All right, so I think it's gonna be on the other thing. Sorry guys, this is almost getting the list. It's kind of crumbling and destroying the last neurons that I have. Okay, so going back to Che Guevara's image, then if I want to talk about the Che Guevara guy, that's another story, right?
Okay, all right. That's good information. We talked about that.
Oh, sorry, I was late to the party.
How about that one, Lily?
That's not fair because I know that picture. I know baby Adolf.
One more picture in
Look
terms
cute.
of how important is the subject or how important is how much you know before you can appreciate it. Here we go.
Oh,
Don't yell it. Look at everything that's in this picture. Is it a good picture? Is it a happy picture? Is it,
It's a
does
good
it tell you
picture.
a story?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's a good picture. It's says a lot.
What's the thing that catches you right off the bat? A couple of things, but go ahead. What
Certainly.
really grabs you?
So she's got the mask on. So of course we know why, but if this, maybe during another era, people would look at it and wonder why she has the mask on, if she's sick or what. She is, kind of looks like a poor area that she lives in, and she's still trying to live a normal life being on the swing, but she doesn't, she looks sad.
He
Well,
looks sad.
Yeah, she looks sad.
I think it's iconic that she's wearing this little Mickey Mouse, pretty little dress, and then she's in this swing, but it's like her patio or her background displays just seem so destitute. And then I also see the little kitty back there. So it's almost like they're like trapped, like both of them are trapped in this environment.
Excellent. Excellent. How about this here?
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
building's
sure.
falling apart.
Exactly. And then, of course, here, the
Yeah, it's just
ground,
like dirty and
moldy.
moldy.
And in addition to the mask, what do you see?
Mermaid.
These soulful eyes.
Yeah.
I
mean,
don't,
there's
if I were to take the mask off, I don't think she's smiling.
No.
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 Again, she's looking to her parents for, she's looking up to her adult in her life for answers. And I think what's interesting to me is that the adults are trying to give her some kind of a childhood. I mean, putting up that little swing or whatever.
And she's super clean. I mean, her clothes.
And she's super clean. She's super clean with this little bow on and the little, the little Mickey Mouse thing. But you can see the destitute around them, that there's so many things that they cannot control in that environment. Sad, kind of.
This is my first cousin's granddaughter. Where do you think it is?
Cuba.
CUBA.
Yep. And they're fairly well off, relatively speaking. No, they get all the little goodies that help. It's clean. You got the mask. They got enough food, but everything else is what it is. It's a magnificent picture for that. And she doesn't know it. My cousin doesn't even know it. And I just call them landscape photographers, even though there were much more than that. There's two photographers in the 1800s that went to take pictures for different purposes, but also ended up taking pictures because they wanted to take interesting pictures. And they get credit for things like this famous image by O'Sullivan of this Pueblo village in Arizona. These ancient ruins. This cactus. This is at a time when the technology was not what it became in the 20th century. So pictures will look a little bit yellowed. They're pretty sharp, but they're not what they became later on. Nonetheless, as historical documents, these are important. Another one was this man Jackson. And he would invariably pose somebody. I'm not sure that that's him. I don't think he would assign his buddy to take his own picture, but maybe, I don't know. At any rate, it was a really good idea to have a human figure so that you would get a sense of scale. But this is in Yosemite, pictured by this man Jackson. This is in Yellowstone, also by Jackson. And this is the Grand Canyon, part of it, in the wintertime, also by Jackson. So now we look at this man who I guess is the most famous of all these landscape photographers and is directly linked with national parks. And here is the Yosemite Valley. No, excuse me. These are the Teton Mountains and the Snake River. This is the Grand Teton National Park. Adams was a musician first, and then he got interested in photography. So he really had a sensibility, an artist sensibility, and he started dealing with photos as an artist, meaning the composition, the shading, the emphasis in different areas, and using a small aperture, a small f-stop, he would invariably get everything in focus from what was closest to the camera to what's all the way to infinity. And that was a style of photography that came to be in the beginning of the 20th century. In fact, he was part of a group called the F64 group, where you went to this tiny, tiny aperture of f-stop 64 so as to get the greatest depth of field.
Look at that.
This is a famous one, the moonrise over Half Dome. This is called Half Dome, this particular granite rock. And here's the Yosemite Valley. Here he is setting up his camera.
Wow.
There's the waterfall. Being an artist, he experimented and he got closer to subjects. Never worked in color on purpose. He liked the tonalities that you could get in black and white photography. The rich blacks, the white highlights. Famous picture of a rose. If you've never seen an original Adams, I urge you to track one down. But on the internet, go somewhere where they have a print, an Adams print, so you can really appreciate what he does technically with these tonalities inside. Now, a different photographer also did landscapes, but nothing like Adams. In other words, this man's emphasis was totally different. These are some close-ups that he did of that and of that. And of that. And I urge you to see originals of Edward Weston. Edward Weston. And he's now not documenting. Adams, you would say, documented the environment, gave it his own spin by taking the picture at just the right moment to give you, the viewer, whatever it is he wants to give you. But it was a fairly faithful reproduction of what he saw. Like that should be recognizable to the viewer. I would say that is, as well as that, and that. But this man is taking it someplace else. Edward Weston is transforming the subject just because that's what he wants to do. He's saying, yeah, I like mushrooms, but I want to show you a mushroom in a different way. And he uses same type of camera, same type of film, same f-stop, f64, tiny, tiny. But he comes up with whatever you see. And I urge you to look at an original Weston. You can appreciate what he does technically. You've seen this one before? This is probably his most famous one.